Hello, friends. Welcome to our YouTube channel, a place where science whispers softly and stories help you sleep. Each night, we explore the hidden threads of the universe, gently, slowly, like a dream unfolding. So find a quiet space, take a deep breath, and let your mind float free, because tonight, we journey into something beautiful. Close your eyes now. Feel the weight of your body gently sinking into the mattress or floor, held softly by gravity, like a leaf resting on a calm pond. The world around you grows quieter with every breath. Your limbs loosen, your thoughts slow, and as you drift inward, a deeper stillness begins to bloom. But beneath that stillness, beneath your bones, your skin, your cells, there is motion, constant, quiet motion. At a level so small, it feels almost like a dream. This is the quantum world, and it is the secret heartbeat of everything you are. You are made of atoms, billions upon billions of them, shaped into the elegant architecture of your body. They seem solid, predictable, obedient to the laws of matter. But if you could shrink yourself down, so small you could stand on the edge of a single proton, you would see something very different. An atom is mostly space, not just a little, almost all. If the nucleus of an atom were the size of a grain of rice, the nearest electron might be orbiting more than a football field away. Between them lies what? Not nothing. The space is not empty. It is buzzing, shimmering with possibility. It is a field of pure potential, a quiet storm of probabilities. This is where the classical world ends and the quantum begins. You may think of yourself as a solid being, but your solidity is an illusion of scale. Zoom in far enough, and you are a cloud of vibrating chances. You are a pattern, not a thing. A set of relationships, not a fixed outline. And this pattern changes with every breath, every heartbeat, every thought. Picture a violin string, gently vibrating in the dark. Now imagine that same vibration carried through a web, spanning the whole of space and time. Your atoms resonate within that web. They tug at the threads of the universe, and those threads respond in kind. Inside your body, particles don't sit still. They flicker, they blur. They exist not in one place, but many, until they are seen. They spin, not like little tops, but like ideas. They communicate, not with sound, but with entanglement, an invisible thread that binds them across impossible distances. This is not fantasy. This is physics, not the physics of bridges and engines, but of stars being born in silence, of electrons making decisions without a mind, of matter that only settles when watched. Imagine holding two tiny dice in your hands. You roll them both separately, far apart, and yet every time they land on the same number. You check again, same result. Even if you roll one on Earth and the other on the moon, they move as one. This is how quantum entanglement feels. Two particles, once connected, remain linked. No matter how far apart, they drift. Change one, and the other changes instantly, not by a signal, not through space, just because. It defies common sense. But nature does not owe us sense. It gives us mystery. And in the stillness of that mystery, a deeper kind of knowing can be felt. Now breathe. Let the air flow in like light filling a lantern. And as you exhale, feel the space within you expanding. Feel the boundaries between you and the air begin to soften. You are not separate from this quantum world. You are the result of it. You are the dance of uncertain particles, stacked gently into stories, memories, names, choices. The world inside you is the world outside you, entwined, entangled, and the emptiness you once feared. It hums with silent fullness. The space between things is not a void. It is a whispering field of infinite potential. It is the invisible loom upon which everything is woven. Every time you touch something, you do not simply collide, you entangle. Your particles embrace and release in patterns too small to see, but real enough to shape the unfolding of events. Consider your hand resting on a surface, the warmth, the pressure, the stillness. But on the quantum level, the electrons of your skin and the electrons of the surface refuse to actually touch. They resist. They dance. They create what we call contact, without ever truly meeting. Touch is an illusion, yet it feels so real, because your brain, also built of flickering probabilities, constructs reality from these gentle lies. It knits the noise into meaning. It pulls the quantum fuzz into the shape of a table, a face, a home, a self. But deep down, beneath the architecture of language and logic, you remain a flicker, a wave, a field, soft as breath. Everything about you is moving, even as you lie still. Your atoms shift, your cells hum, your molecules vibrate like strings on a sleeping harp. And that motion is not yours alone. It echoes the motion of stars, of deep oceans, of clouds drifting across the quiet dark of interstellar space. There is a pattern here, not of control, but of connection. You here, a particle there, a gentle thread between them, stretching across miles, years, even lifetimes, unbroken. Quantum entanglement tells us that something shared can remain shared forever. And while physicists measure and test and theorize, there is a beauty beyond the math. Because what they discover is not just how particles behave, but how deeply everything is joined, not by force, but by presence, by a moment of contact that never truly ends. So, as you rest, know that your stillness is not the end of movement. It is the beginning of noticing, a kind of listening. Your body, made of ancient stardust, whispers across space with every breath. The particles that make you have touched suns, comets, oceans, and hearts. They remember, and as you sleep, they continue their soft, unseen work. They flicker in and out of place. They pulse in probability. They follow the music of the quantum field that surrounds you like a cradle. What you are cannot be held in a single place. You are not just here. You are elsewhere too, folded into the fabric of a connected cosmos. You are the thread, and the tapestry, and the weaver. And just as your body carries this deep connection, so does every grain of dust, every leaf, every photon drifting between stars. The night does not end at your window. It continues inward, into the secret silence of atoms, into the quantum. And this is where we begin, where stillness opens not into sleep, but into a mystery more intimate than dreams. So as you drift, know this: there is something within you that is never truly alone. Even now, as your body softens and your breath deepens, somewhere, a particle stirs because another, far away, felt you move. And perhaps, deep within that silent dance, a new question begins to form. If a single particle can hold many paths, then what paths lie hidden inside of you? You wake into the world each day, surrounded by shapes and names, a lamp, a window, a wall. Things stay where they are, and you trust them to do so. But beneath this dependable surface, there is a stranger rhythm, a deeper pulse. It hums not with certainty, but with possibility. Tonight, let your mind drift there, to the place where a particle becomes many things, all at once. Let go of what you know. Let go of what is supposed to be, and gently enter the quantum world, where a particle is not a point, but a question. You are made of particles. But more than that, you are made of probabilities, of maybes, of could be and might. At the smallest scale, an electron doesn't sit in one place. It lives in a cloud of potential, a shimmer, a blur, until something sees it, and then, in that instant, it chooses. But before that choice, it is everything it might be, here and there, moving this way or that, a whisper of possibility. This is superposition, the gentle holding of many states at once, like a story with every ending open, paused just before the last page is turned. Imagine yourself standing at a crossroads. Every direction stretches into the fog. Each path holds a version of you, smiling, running, weeping, resting. You haven't chosen, so all of them remain, equally real, equally possible. This is how a particle lives before the world demands an answer. It does not resist being seen, but it is changed by it. To observe is to collapse. To look is to decide. Your gaze ends the question. And that is the beautiful paradox. The universe does not fully exist until you touch it with awareness. Reality is participatory. You are not just living in the world. You are helping create it, moment by moment, glance by glance, decision by decision. What a strange and gentle truth, that the world is not made of solid things, but shifting waves awaiting your arrival. Even light, which pours through your window, which warms your skin, plays this dual game. Light is both wave and particle, a dance of brightness and blur. It moves like a ripple, but arrives like a bead. And whether it travels one way or another depends not just on itself, but on you, on whether someone is watching, on whether a question is being asked. It seems impossible. It seems like a trick, but experiment after experiment says the same quiet thing. The act of observing brings a fuzzy maybe into a real now. Like fireflies blinking in the dark, particles wink into being only when you notice. Before that, they wait. They hover in a soft fog of what could be. This doesn't mean that you control the universe with your thoughts, but it does mean you are woven into it more deeply than you were told. You are not an outsider. You are a participant. You are an ingredient in the unfolding of reality. Your presence matters. You matter. And it's not just electrons that hold this mystery. Entire atoms, tiny worlds of their own, can be placed into superposition. One whole atom, being in two places at once. You might laugh or blink, but it is true. Reality at its smallest is not fixed. It flows. It doesn't snap into place until something asks it to, until you look or touch or care. And that question, what causes the universe to choose? What makes it pick a path? Is still unanswered. Perhaps it's the act of measurement. Perhaps it's the presence of consciousness. Or perhaps something even more subtle, a whisper from the edge of time. No one knows for sure, and that is part of the wonder. Now, rest your thoughts, breathe deeply. Let the quiet rise like morning mist inside your chest. And think about this, what if you are more possibility than certainty? What if, beneath the habits and roles, you are still unfolding, still shimmering, still in superposition? You do not end at your skin. You are not the labels you wear. You are a field of futures still becoming. And every choice you make, every path you follow, collapses 1,000 others. Not in loss, but in the sacred act of becoming real. So the next time you hesitate, between a yes and a no, a left and a right, remember the particle. Suspended, balanced, full of grace. It is not weakness to wait. It is a kind of magic, to hold all your paths gently until one rises to meet you. You are made of stardust, yes, but also of unknowns, of maybe, of not yet. And isn't that beautiful? Because it means you are never finished. There is room to change, to learn, to grow. You are not a machine. You are a shimmering pattern, ever so slightly different with every breath. And this moment, this quiet one, with your eyes soft and your limbs heavy, is one of infinite versions you might have lived. And here you are, in this one, in this quiet, with the world behind your eyelids, waiting to be touched into clarity. So let it be soft, let it be uncertain, let it unfold like a dream. Because when you wake, the world will have shifted again. New choices, new observations, new paths collapsing into now. But for now, you float in the mist, suspended, whole, possible. And far below, at the base of all things, particles continue to drift between options, between selves, between realities, until the universe whispers, now. And the choice becomes real. But what happens when two particles share their choices? When one path depends on another, no matter how far apart they drift? Let your breath settle. Feel the silence between inhale and exhale, that brief, delicate pause. It's in that space, that stillness, where something curious lives. A question, a connection. You've felt it before, perhaps. The sense that someone far away is thinking of you. That you and another, separated by miles or years, move in harmony without speaking. An invisible thread tugging gently across the vastness. It sounds like poetry. But tonight, we step into a version of that poetry woven into the fabric of physics. Entanglement. A word that hums with mystery, and yet belongs to the world of math, of experiments, of wires and chambers and impossibly tiny things. Let's begin with a simple image. Imagine two particles, born together in the heart of a star, or created in a laboratory, or split from a single mother particle, like twin seeds from the same fruit. For a moment, they sit close. They spin. They pulse. They exchange a glance that is not quite a glance, but a mutual knowing. And then they part. One moves left, the other right. They drift across space, carried by time and distance, each following its own journey. But something strange remains, something deep, something unbroken. Despite the distance, they are no longer independent. They are entangled. Whatever happens to one, a nudge, a spin, a change, is instantly reflected in the other, not with delay, not with warning. Instantly, even if they are on opposite sides of the universe. It sounds impossible. Even Einstein thought so. He called it spooky action at a distance, because no signal travels, no messenger runs between them. And yet, the dance continues. Turn one dancer's foot, and the other pivots, perfectly in sync. Not because they are told to, but because they are still, somehow, one. This is not science fiction. This is quantum mechanics, repeated, tested, confirmed, again and again. Entangled particles don't just communicate. They behave as if they are part of the same system, regardless of how far apart they are. And this challenges something deep in us, our sense of space, of independence, of separation. We like to believe that once things are apart, they are apart. That if two people stand in different cities, they are no longer sharing a moment. But quantum physics whispers otherwise. It says, once connected, always connected. Not in a magical, mystical way, but in a physical, testable, undeniable way. It's as though the universe remembers the togetherness of things. Entanglement is not a message. It doesn't let you send words or secrets faster than light. But it does show that something deeper than distance is at work. In a way, entangled particles don't become linked. They are the same thing, expressed in two places. They are a shared story, written on two pages, opened in two different rooms. And when you read one, the other page already knows its lines. Now rest your thoughts. Float a little deeper. Picture a ripple in a pond. You drop one stone, but two ripples emerge, perfect mirrors of each other, moving outward in opposite directions. They are not sending signals. They are the signal. They are a whole, briefly pretending to be two. This is what the quantum world shows us, that wholeness is not always obvious, that separation might be an illusion of the surface, that beneath the pond's calm face there is one water. You might wonder, why does this matter? Because if particles, the building blocks of reality, can be entangled, then so can everything built from them, including you, including the people you love, including the earth itself. Now, this doesn't mean that your emotions are instantly shared across galaxies or that thoughts leap faster than light. But it does suggest that connection is more fundamental than we once believed, that perhaps we are not just islands floating in space, but parts of a larger sea. And when one wave moves, the others feel it, softly, subtly. Think of your own life, the moments of uncanny alignment, the phone call just before you reach out, the shared laughter at the same thought. We write these off as coincidence, but what if some of them are echoes of a deeper dance? What if, long ago, your atoms touched mine, and even now, in this moment, they hum with memory? There is comfort in that thought, that nothing truly goes away, that what was once joined still carries the echo of that union. The universe remembers. Entanglement is not just a trick of math. It's a hint that underneath space, underneath time, there is something more. Not a place, not a thing, but a relationship. And relationships, as you know, are not bound by distance. They live in presence, in shared beginnings, in the quiet pull that says, I am part of you, even when I am far. Tonight, as you rest, remember this. Somewhere in your body are particles that once lived inside a star or inside someone else. Particles that once danced in the breath of forests, in the oceans of ancient Earth. And somewhere else, far across the universe, a piece of you still hums, in rhythm with something unseen. You are not alone. Not now, not ever. Because entanglement is not just about physics. It is about a truth we've always felt but couldn't explain. That deep connection survives even silence. That meaning endures without words. That a bond, once formed, is never fully broken. So, let the night wrap around you. Let your thoughts float, like twin particles released into space. Let your breath mirror the breath of someone far away. Let your dreams step gently in time with another's feet, and know that somewhere, someone feels your movement, even now, not through magic, but through the elegant, unseen threads of entanglement. And yet, even Einstein resisted this idea. He believed something must be missing, some hidden piece that explained it all. What made him uneasy about this silent connection? The room is quiet now. Your breath flows in steady tides. Each blink, each sigh, slows the spinning of the day. Here, in this soft stillness, let us return to the quantum world, a place where what you see depends on whether you're watching. We begin with a simple question. What is light? You see it every day. You feel it on your skin. It dances through windows and stars. But at the quantum level, light is more than just brightness. It is a mystery with two faces. Sometimes it behaves like a wave, gentle, rippling, spread out across space. And sometimes it behaves like a particle, a single pinpoint of energy, a photon, landing like a tiny stone. So, which is it? The answer is quietly astonishing. It depends on whether you're looking. To understand this, let's walk into a famous experiment. A doorway into the strangeness at the heart of reality. It's called the double-slit experiment, and it begins simply. Imagine a barrier with two narrow slits, side by side, just wide enough for particles to pass through. Now we shine light toward the slits. On the other side, there's a screen, waiting to catch the light's arrival. If light is made of particles, you'd expect it to go through one slit or the other, like marbles tossed through two doorways. But what appears is not two bright patches. Instead, you get a series of alternating stripes. Light, dark, light, dark, like the fingerprints of a wave. This is called an interference pattern, the mark of a wave that has passed through both slits at once, then overlapped with itself, cancelling in some places and amplifying in others. Light, it seems, has no need to choose a path. It takes both. It flows through both slits at the same time. But here's where it turns surreal. What if we send just one photon at a time? Tiny bits of light, one by one, slow and deliberate. Still, the pattern builds. Still, the light behaves like a wave, as if each single photon splits itself, passes through both slits simultaneously, and interferes with itself. It defies logic. It behaves not like a thing, but like a question, left unanswered. But now, let's add one more twist. Let's try to catch the photon in the act. Let's place a detector at each slit to see which path it takes. Now, the photon knows it's being watched, and suddenly, the wave pattern disappears. No more ripples, no more interference. Now the photons hit the screen like particles, choosing one slit or the other. It is as if the act of observing collapses the question into a fact, as if your attention decides the shape of reality. This is not imagination. This is physics, repeated again and again in labs around the world. And it isn't just photons. Electrons do this too. So do atoms. Anything that can behave like a wave will show this mystery. Until someone looks. Then it chooses a path, a place, a reality. What does this mean? It means that observation is not passive, it is creative. It means that your gaze is not harmless, it shapes. Not just metaphorically, but physically. The universe, at its core, does not settle until it is seen. This unsettled nature, this haze of maybes, waits for your attention, like a story waiting for its reader. You are not just in the world, you are part of its unfolding. You help call it into being. Imagine that. Reality, like a mist, coalescing into form wherever you look. It doesn't mean you create the world out of nothing, but you help choose which version of it becomes real. You, the witness, become part of the equation. Now lie still. Let this truth settle. That seeing is not passive, it is participation. A photon, left alone, travels as possibility. But when you look, it becomes. This is called wave function collapse, a technical term for a poetic act. The fuzzy cloud of could be shrinks into is, not because the particle decided, but because you did. And this begs a larger question. What is observation? Is it a camera, a machine, or does it take a mind? Could consciousness itself be what turns the wave into a dot? Some physicists say yes, some say no. The debate hums quietly in the halls of science, still unresolved. But what matters here is the feeling of this idea, that your awareness, your presence, your focus has power. Not in the way of control, but in the way of invitation. You invite the world to be known, and in that knowing, it changes. Consider how this plays out in your life. You enter a room, and the energy shifts. You notice a friend's silence, and suddenly it feels heavier. You place your attention on a problem, and the solution begins to take shape. The act of observing, with love, with curiosity, with patience, is transformative. It turns uncertainty into clarity, not all at once, not always neatly, but undeniably. You are not a stranger in this universe. You are a mirror it holds up to itself. Every time you ask, "What is this?" the universe answers by becoming. And what's more, your not knowing is not a flaw. It is the space that allows things to shift. Without uncertainty, nothing new could happen. Uncertainty is not chaos. It is potential. It is the room where all futures wait. And it exists, not just in particles, but in hearts, in thoughts, in choices. What you observe in others, what you notice, what you acknowledge, can change them. Your attention is a form of light. Where you shine it, things begin to take shape. Now take another breath. Feel how gentle it is to rest in this truth. You do not need to know everything. You do not need to solve or fix. You only need to see, to witness, to hold the space for becoming. The double-slit experiment was meant to test light, but in doing so, it revealed something far greater, that we are not separate from what we see, that our questions matter. That awareness is a thread woven into the fabric of everything. You don't need to be a scientist to live this truth. You live it each time you bring your full presence to this moment. You do it when you listen deeply, when you pause before reacting, when you look, truly look, at the world around you and let it become real in your eyes. And as you drift into sleep, know this: somewhere in the quantum haze, another particle waits, unmeasured, undecided, soft as a maybe. And one day, you may be the one to call it into form. You, the quiet observer. You, the poet of light. But if observation changes the world, then what did Einstein see when he looked upon this mystery with doubt? Why did he resist what so many now accept? You sit still in the softness of your bed. The hum of the world fades. A breath comes in, and another leaves. Inside you, the night stretches long, and far, far beyond, across stars and silence, something stirs, something strange, something deeply connected, a thread between two things, even if they are light years apart. This is where we begin tonight, with a question, with a doubt, with Einstein, a man who loved certainty, order, clarity. He believed in a world that behaved itself, a world where cause comes before effect, where light is the fastest anything can travel, where things once apart stay apart, predictable, rational, safe. But something kept tugging at that safety, a strange little feature in the mathematics of quantum physics, a kind of hidden connection. Particles, it seemed, could become linked, entangled, and once they were, no matter how far you pulled them apart, a change in one would be reflected in the other, instantly. Imagine you have two marbles born together in a hidden dance. You place one on Earth and launch the other to a galaxy far away. You spin the one here, and somehow, without touching, the one out there spins too. No message travels, no light beam carries the update, and yet the mirror moves. Einstein didn't like this. He didn't like it one bit. He called it spooky action at a distance, a phrase half playful and half troubled, because it broke the rules he held dear. It challenged the speed limit of the universe. It whispered of invisible threads, of information leaping across space, faster than light, faster than time. It couldn't be. So Einstein searched for another answer, a hidden variable, something secret tucked inside the particles, a shared instruction they'd both carry from the beginning, like twins each given the same note. Open it only when you are apart, it says, and so they act the same, not because they're connected, but because they were always told to. This felt better. This felt safer. No magic, no spookiness. But as time passed, experiments whispered otherwise. In the 1960s, a physicist named John Bell asked the universe a bold question. If Einstein was right, if hidden instructions really existed, then certain patterns must show up. The math would leave fingerprints, so Bell wrote an inequality, a kind of test. If particles followed hidden rules, they'd behave within certain limits. If they didn't, if something stranger was happening, those limits would be broken. And when scientists performed the experiments again and again, the particles broke the rules. No hidden note, no quiet instructions, only entanglement. Two particles, no matter how far apart, each reflects the other, in real time, as if distance doesn't exist, as if they are still one. You feel this idea settle softly into your chest, not as a threat, but a mystery, a reminder that the universe does not behave like a machine. It behaves more like a dream, curved and surprising, familiar, yet always one step deeper than you expect. Entanglement does not allow messages to be sent faster than light. It doesn't let us cheat time, but it does suggest something more profound. That particles once connected remain connected. That separation is not what it seems. And here, lying still in the quiet of the night, you wonder, if particles can remain linked, despite oceans of space, what else might remain connected? You, your breath, your thoughts, the people you love, the ones who are far or gone or drifting like stars across your memory. Is there perhaps some invisible link between you and them? Maybe not in the strict physics of it, but in the rhythm of the universe, in the way the quantum hums beneath your skin. You begin to sense it. That being connected might be more fundamental than being separate. That everything, every particle, every flicker of matter or meaning, once touched, never truly lets go. Einstein never fully accepted this, not because he was stubborn, but because he wanted the universe to make sense in the old way, in the clockwork way, and for many years it seemed no one could quite convince him otherwise. But still, the data kept arriving. Entanglement wasn't just an idea. It was real. It was measurable. And more than that, it was useful. Today, scientists are building quantum computers, not from switches and wires, but from entangled states, from probabilities and dances, from what Einstein once called spooky. These machines don't just crunch numbers, they shimmer with possibility. They solve problems that would take normal computers billions of years. They use entanglement as a kind of cosmic shortcut. And beyond computation, entanglement may someday let us share encryption keys that no one can break, or build sensors that feel the gravity of a planet a million miles away. So what once seemed impossible, what once troubled the greatest mind of the 20th century, has become a doorway. And as you lie here, breathing slowly, drifting between thoughts and sleep, you wonder, what if the universe is not built of things, but of relationships, not of objects, but of threads, not of distance, but of echoes? In this moment, you are not alone. You are entangled with everything you have ever touched, every person who has loved you, every star that burned to make the atoms in your chest, every breath of wind, every beat of time. And though Einstein worried, though he struggled with the implications, perhaps his worry was a kind of doorway too, an opening into a deeper truth, that what we fear in science is often the sign we are brushing against wonder. You close your eyes and listen to that brush. It's quiet, it's wide as the sky, and it hums. The hum doesn't end, it shifts, and from that hum emerges a new question. If particles can remain linked across space, might they also be linked across time? You are here, now in this stillness, wrapped in the gentle weight of gravity, in the hush of breath, you are held by time. But what is time really? You are told it's a river, that it flows only forward, from past to future, pulling you in its current like a leaf. And yet, deep beneath what you were told, the river bends. Sometimes it even circles. Tonight, we listen for those curves. We drift toward a truth that even scientists hesitate to touch, the idea that the future might already exist and that the past might never be gone. Let's return to the particles, entangled, linked across space, as you now know, but also, strangely, beautifully, across time. Imagine again two tiny particles, born together in a quantum dance. But now, imagine they don't meet in the same moment. One flickers into existence now, the other, sometime later, and still, they move in harmony, as if time itself doesn't separate them, as if the moment they share isn't one of time, but of pattern. This is not fantasy. This is quantum theory, and it's being explored in quiet labs where lasers hum like lullabies and physicists listen closely to what time is trying to say. In some interpretations, what happens in the future can influence what happened in the past, not through magic, but through possibility. Let that settle into you for a moment. The future, gently pressing back, like a whisper on the shoulder of the now. You feel this in your own life sometimes, don't you? A thought arises before an event. A dream seems to arrive early. A decision you make today feels as if it has already happened, long before you made it. Could it be that time is not just a line, but a weave, a fabric that bends and folds, looping present into past and past into what has not yet arrived? In quantum experiments, this is more than poetry. There's something called the delayed choice quantum eraser. It shows us that a particle's behavior now can be changed by how you measure it later. In other words, the future decision alters the past result. This is not cheating. It's not rewriting history. It's something gentler, more subtle. It tells us that time is not what we thought it was, that perhaps the past, the present, and the future are not separate rooms in a house, but different folds of the same cloth. Touch one, and you ripple them all. You're lying still, but your mind is traveling, softly, like a tide returning to the shore of memory, and you begin to wonder, what parts of you, your hopes, your regrets, are still alive in the space-time fabric? Where do your childhood joys reside? What about that turning point, the one that shaped your life? Does it echo still? If quantum particles can carry the imprint of both past and future, then perhaps you too are not fixed in time. Perhaps you are more like a song still being sung. Science tells us that the particles in your body are billions of years old. They were forged in stars that died before Earth was born. So in every breath you take, you are inhaling history. And in every thought, you are sending ripples into futures you can't yet see. Time, then, may be more like an ocean than a river. Vast, layered, living. And you are not just drifting through it. You are part of its tides. Some physicists believe the universe doesn't really change at all, that what we call time is simply a way of navigating a larger reality where all moments already exist, a timeless block where every second, every heartbeat, every falling star is there forever. And if that is true, then nothing is ever truly lost. Not the people you miss, not the moments that slipped through your fingers, not the paths you didn't take. They are there, like rooms in a mansion you can no longer see, but once walked through barefoot, feeling their warmth. And maybe, on some level, you still do. You might wonder, If the future and past can be connected like this, does free will still matter? If the path is already there, are you truly choosing your steps? But here, in this pause before sleep, you feel the answer not as a fact, but as a feeling. Choice is the music you bring to the dance, the melody you play as you walk the folds of time. Even if the path is written, how you walk it still changes the shape of everything. And maybe the universe is listening to your steps. You are not powerless. You are part of a pattern so vast that your quietest moment shapes galaxies. So rest now. Feel the strange comfort of being both ancient and new, of being connected not just across space, but across the very structure of time. You are not running out of time. You are made of it. You are held in it. You are music, woven into its waves. And as the particles of you hum in quiet resonance with every age of the cosmos, you begin to hear something else. A question. If time can fold and ripple, then might there be more than one version of you woven through its currents? Feel the soft trail of a memory rising. Not in words, not in pictures, but in feeling. Maybe it's the scent of a place you once loved. Maybe it's the weight of someone's gaze, long gone, but never forgotten. These echoes live not in one corner of your mind, but ripple across it like waves, faint, but somehow full of everything. Your brain, this quiet cathedral of thought, holds more than facts. It holds emotion, sensation, intuition, all tangled in invisible threads. Each memory is not stored like a file on a shelf, but woven into networks that shift, glow, and hum. Scientists once believed memory was mechanical, that each thought had its own box, each feeling its own drawer. But the deeper we looked, with machines, with math, with mystery, the less certain things became. What if memory is not just physical? What if it is also quantum, dancing like particles in uncertainty, flashing in and out of form like possibilities waiting to be observed? You see, inside every neuron, inside every cell of your brain, there are atoms, and within those atoms, electrons flicker. They do not sit still. They do not obey rules like stones in a jar. They float in fields of maybes. Now imagine, if memory is shaped by the structure of your brain, and your brain is shaped by quantum particles, then could your thoughts, your most private whispers, also be shaped by the strange laws of quantum reality? Let's go deeper. There's a theory, still debated, still fragile, that quantum coherence might exist in the brain. Not everywhere, but perhaps in tiny places. Microtubules, delicate structures inside your neurons, small enough to host quantum effects. These places may hold waves of energy, vibrating in synchrony, then collapsing into something you feel as thought. This theory is called OR, or orchestrated objective reduction. It suggests that consciousness, and perhaps memory, emotion, even love, emerge from quantum computation, like notes from an invisible instrument playing inside you. Not random noise, but orchestrated, intentional, alive. Now feel again. That moment when you suddenly remember a song from years ago, a flash, a face. Why does it appear uninvited? Why does a smell trigger sadness? Why does a dream bring clarity? In classical biology, these would be called associations, neural pathways firing based on past patterns. But quantum thinking suggests more, that perhaps a part of you reaches beyond the present moment, dipping into a field of possibility, where time folds and everything touches everything else. Entanglement, that mysterious connection Einstein once called spooky action, may not be limited to particles across the galaxy. It may be alive in you, not across space, but across states of being. Two electrons, once linked, remember each other. They respond instantly, even when separated by vast distances. What if parts of your mind work the same? What if an emotion today triggers a response in the past, or the past responds to the now? It sounds impossible, and yet your inner life already behaves this way. You are not a straight line of moments, you are loops and spirals. You are waves that collapse and rise again. You've felt it. When grief returns years later, when joy springs from an old song, when the memory of someone you loved brings warmth like they're still here. These aren't files you open, they're frequencies you tune into. Your memories are not frozen snapshots. They are living fields, electric, emotional, quantum. They shimmer beneath the surface of consciousness, entangled with your feelings, your body, your breath. Emotion, too, behaves strangely. It is not always logical. It defies simple cause and effect. It lingers without reason, swells without warning, fades without permission. Could emotion be a wave, a probability field collapsing into the shape of sadness or joy, depending on where your awareness lands? Quantum systems behave differently when observed. A particle that exists in all states at once, a superposition, suddenly chooses a form when we look. Your emotions, too, wait in fields of possibility. When you become aware of them, they take shape. Before that, they are just energy, humming below the surface. You are the observer, and you are the observed. Now, think of dreams. Why do they feel real? Why do some stay with you, decades later, as if they actually happened? Dreams defy time. They stretch memory. They bend emotion. And perhaps they operate in a realm closer to quantum reality, where time is less a river and more a mist, where moments fold and meaning ripples outward instead of forward. Could your dreaming mind be quantum-tuned, more sensitive to the subtle patterns that guide your waking life? Could your subconscious be a quantum field, processing emotion, not through logic, but through resonance, harmonies that align with your past, your hopes, your fears? These aren't answers, but they are questions worth holding, because something in you already knows what science only whispers. You are not a machine. You are a mystery. And your mind is not just a brain. It is a field. It is movement. It is memory in motion. Each thought you think sends ripples, not just through neurons, but through possibility. And each feeling you feel may be a song, a vibration collapsing into meaning, into memory, into you. Now picture this. You are sitting quietly. A memory arrives. You do not call it. It comes like wind through leaves. You feel something, a warmth, a loss, a knowing. And for a moment, you are there, not in time, not in space, but in feeling. This is the dance of the quantum mind, not an answer, a movement. In this stillness, you realize something, that your memories are not behind you, they are beside you. They live in the folds of your awareness, entangled with your emotions, curled in the corners of your being. And what you feel, this moment, right now, might ripple backward, might ripple outward, touching everything you have been and everything you might yet become. So when you feel a sudden tear or a laugh that escapes without warning, know that it may not be random. It may be the result of subtle entanglements, of quantum threads within you responding to a universe that is far more alive, far more intimate than you ever dared imagine. And maybe, just maybe, you are not simply remembering, you are resonating, you are vibrating with the memory of being alive. And your mind, this quiet quantum lantern, is lighting paths through dimensions unseen. The next time you remember, let yourself feel the echo. Let yourself trust that something deeper is listening, something beyond time. something that has always known you. Now pause, breathe, and ask gently, what else might your inner world be entangled with? Imagine the Earth not as a spinning rock, but as a humming field of silent signals, a planet wrapped in threads of communication, soft as roots, swift as light. Beneath your feet, beneath the soil, a forest speaks in secret. Not in words, not in noise, but in pulses, in chemical sighs, in electric rhythm. This is the mycelial network, a vast web of fungal threads, mycelium, spreading beneath trees like whispers underground. It connects roots across miles, passing nutrients, signals, warnings. When one tree is wounded, the others feel it, responding, adjusting, helping, as though the forest breathes through a single lung. Scientists call it the wood wide web. But perhaps it is more than just ecology. Perhaps it remembers. Perhaps it coordinates like a brain. Now breathe. Think of the word entangled. It means caught, wrapped together, inseparable. In quantum mechanics, it means even more. Two particles linked in such a way that changing one instantly affects the other, no matter the distance. Instantly, as if space itself shrinks for them, as if distance is a story they no longer believe. Entanglement, strange and quiet, has been observed in particles, photons, even atoms. But what if the same principle, this deep, synchronistic whisper, exists in nature too? Let's take flight. Above the forest, a robin turns her head to the wind. She does not know the equations, but she knows where home is. She migrates with uncanny precision, thousands of miles without a map. But here's the strange part. Her eyes may be reading the quantum spin of Earth's magnetic field. Inside the eye of the robin sits a molecule called cryptochrome. When struck by light, it creates two electrons, tiny dancers that become entangled. As these partners move in unison, they react subtly to the magnetic field of the planet. They allow the bird to sense direction, not through sight, not through smell, but through quantum feeling. Pause. A bird is not a machine. It does not calculate, it perceives. It moves through a sensory world, more ancient than numbers. A map drawn in entanglement. You too are made of perception. Not just the mind in your skull, but the body that listens to the wind, the skin that tingles with intuition, the gut that knows before thought begins. Let us return to the ground. A firefly blinks once, then another, and suddenly 1,000 lights pulse in perfect rhythm. This is not choreography. There is no conductor, no command, and yet they pulse as one. Scientists call it synchronization. One lights up, another adjusts, until the whole field glows like a breathing star. Could coherence, the subtle state where parts become a unified wave, exist in nature's deepest behaviors? Physicist Erwin Schrödinger once wondered if life itself resists entropy by pulling order from quantum laws. Quantum coherence is fragile, easily destroyed by noise, by heat. And yet, some forms of life seem to protect it, nurture it, use it. In photosynthesis, for instance, light enters a plant, and its energy must be moved efficiently. But it does not bounce randomly, like a ball in a box. Instead, in quantum experiments, this energy seems to take all paths at once, choosing the fastest route as if it knows where it's going. This is quantum coherence, not in a lab, but in the leaves. So a tree may hum with the memory of sunlight, not as metaphor, but as mechanism. A dolphin navigates by echo, a bat by sound. But nature whispers in deeper frequencies, in the jungles, in coral reefs, in murmuring bird flocks and migrating fish. Coherence appears again and again. patterns that arise with no leader, no plan, just a shared rhythm. Just like the entanglement of particles, these biological networks respond to one another without signal or command, like distant stars pulsing in tune. And perhaps you too are part of it. You feel the energy of a room before a word is spoken. You sense when someone close to you is troubled, even from far away. Science has not yet explained that completely, but quantum biology is just beginning. The rules we thought belonged to empty space may play their strange music in our cells. Now rest. Imagine lying beneath the stars, not as a separate thing, but as part of a breathing network. Every heartbeat, every memory, woven into the quiet circuits of nature. The trees, the fungi, the birds. They are not just alive, they are listening, not in a human way, but in a way that pulses, entangles, aligns. The universe does not speak in words, it speaks in resonance. And somewhere, beneath it all, the same law that links particles across galaxies may hum gently through the soil beneath your bare feet. You are not apart from nature. You are threaded into it. Entangled earth, quiet, coherent, awake. Now inhale softly. In the next chapter, we will follow this thread further, not into biology, but into something older, into the deep memory of the universe itself, into the record it seems to carry of everything that has ever happened. You lie still, your body gently breathing, your mind beginning to loosen its grip. The day, with all its measurements and moments, falls away like sand through an open hand. Somewhere, beyond the ticking of clocks and the mapping of stars, something quieter waits, a presence, timeless and still. This is where we begin tonight. You've always been taught that time flows like a river, past to present to future. That space is a vast cold stage where matter dances apart, each star billions of years away, that you are here and everything else is you're there. But what if these are only habits of perception? What if time bends and distance folds like paper in a child's hand? Tonight, we invite you to step softly into the mystery of separation, to question whether the space between things is truly empty, to feel into a truth that even Einstein wrestled with, that perhaps the universe is far more entangled than it seems. He called it spooky action at a distance. Two particles, twin sparks born of the same event, sent drifting apart, one to this side of the cosmos, the other to the far end of it. And yet, when one is touched, the other responds, instantly, without warning, without delay. Not even light is fast enough to explain this whisper across the stars. Entanglement, a bond not of matter, but of information, of knowing, a thread that ties being to being, beyond time, beyond space. A connection so immediate that it ignores the very rules we've built our world upon. You breathe, slowly. You think of someone you love, how you sometimes feel their presence without words, without phone calls, how their emotions echo inside you, as if the strings of your hearts are still vibrating from the same note. Could it be that memory, emotion, and attention are quantum too? That consciousness knows no distance? The more scientists look, the more the universe resists neat categories. Entanglement is not a glitch, it is foundational. It's not the exception, but the quiet rule. Quantum fields, the most basic description of reality, ripple beneath space and time like the surface of a hidden sea. The things we think of as separate, particles, people, planets, are like waves cresting from the same still water. They rise in form, they vanish in silence. But underneath, they are not apart, they are not even two. Time itself may be an illusion born of movement, of change, of memory. In the quantum realm, particles don't travel from point A to point B in a straight line. They blur, they shimmer, they exist in many possibilities at once, only settling when observed. And even then, their past and future seem strangely negotiable. It's not that the universe moves forward, it just is, complete, simultaneous, waiting to be witnessed. You might wonder then, if entangled particles ignore space, what is distance made of? What fills the gap between stars or between two people lying silently in different rooms, both staring at the same moon? The old view says vacuum, void, nothing. But quantum physics tells us this space is anything but empty. It's a sea of potential, a field buzzing with invisible exchange. Virtual particles blink into and out of being, borrowing energy from uncertainty itself. It's as if the cosmos is whispering behind the curtain. Never still, never separate. Close your eyes. Imagine two particles, light years apart. A choice made here affects the other instantly. Not by a message sent, but as if the choice had always belonged to both. It's not communication, it's communion. Not transfer, but unity. This may feel impossible, but reality doesn't bend to our comfort. It opens to our wonder. Entanglement teaches us something more than physics. It suggests a new way of being, one where you are not isolated, where your consciousness ripples into the fabric of everything, where your thoughts, your compassion, your grief, your love are threads tugging softly at the stars. Many physicists now explore the idea that space itself might emerge from entanglement, that the web of connections between things builds geometry. In this view, the more two particles are entangled, the closer they are in space, not geographically, but fundamentally. Space is not a backdrop, it is a consequence. And time, it may be an ordering of events created by observation, an illusion born from the mind's need to make sense of change. Quantum experiments show that the order of cause and effect can blur, that the effect may come before the cause, or that both are woven together in loops of mutual influence. The you of yesterday and the you of tomorrow may not be lined up in neat rows. They may already exist, entangled, waiting for your awareness to trace the path and call it memory or destiny. This isn't just theory. Experiments with quantum computers now test these questions in real circuits. Scientists teleport information, manipulate particles with delayed choices, observe entanglement creating structure. The deeper they look, the more the universe behaves not like a machine, but like a story, one where the narrator and the characters are strangely intertwined. So what does this mean for you, lying here in the quiet? It means the limits you feel, of distance, of time, of identity, may not be real walls. They may be veils. Veils that thin in moments of presence, in dreams, in meditation, in love. You are not confined to your skin. Your awareness spills past your body, touches others without touching. You remember people you haven't seen in years, and they remember you, sometimes in the same breath. You feel pain that isn't yours, joy that has no clear source. And though science often sidesteps these moments, quantum entanglement offers a whisper of understanding. That connection may be deeper than we ever dared name. The world outside tells you to measure your life by time, seconds, seasons, ages. But what if you measured it by depth instead? By the richness of each moment, not the length between them. Feel the stillness now. Notice how the space around you is not empty. It holds sound. It holds warmth. It holds possibility. Perhaps even presence. Entanglement reminds you you are not alone. You have never been. The universe is not a scattered field of lonely stars. It is a tapestry, a single unfolding gesture. And every gesture you make ripples outward in ways you may never see, but that are never lost, like a wave you sent years ago, returning now in someone else's kindness, like a feeling shared between minds that never spoke, like a dream that comes to two people on opposite ends of the earth. Same symbols, same silence. What separates you from the stars is not distance. What separates today from tomorrow is not time. The veil is thinner than that, more like breath, more like thought. You drift now, deeper into this knowing. Let the edges blur. Let the map dissolve. You are not here or there. You are part of something wide, something ancient, something awake. You are a note in the song the universe is still learning to sing. You are a shimmer on the skin of time. And just as particles can speak across galaxies, so too can you listen, not with ears, but with attention. The illusion of separation falls away, not in a sudden collapse, but like snow melting from a quiet hillside. And underneath, something waiting, something whole, something that listens back. Chapter 10. You lie in the hush of night, your breath slow and steady, your mind softening like petals at dusk. There is no hurry here, only the quiet echo of becoming. You have journeyed through the quantum realm, through particles that speak across galaxies, through memories that beat like subtle drums in the landscape of your mind, through nature's silent hum, in forests, fungi, flocks. And now, finally, you arrive at something simple, something personal. You are the thread, not just a part of the tapestry, but the thread that weaves it all together, connecting your being to everything that ever was and everything that might yet be. Entanglement has taught us that once two things touch, once they share a moment, that connection holds, no matter how far apart they drift. A particle here, a spark there, and still they know each other. Instantly, perfectly, forever. Think of your life that way. Every touch, every word, every presence you've allowed has carried more meaning than you might know. Because when you touch something, gently or firmly, your particles exchange energy, your vibrational fields ripple out. You may not see the effect, but the effect never goes unnoticed. Entanglement tells us, once connected, always connected. So consider this. You are made of particles born in stars, in oceans, in ancient earth, stooped by gravity, carried through aeons. They have touched other beings, other lives, before you. In you, they carry the memory of distant suns, of forgotten forests, of oceans, long gone. They carry your ancestors' laughter, their grief, their dreams, deep beneath your skin. These particles are threads, threads that weave through time, through flesh, through memory. They make you you, and they make connection. You are the thread, a continuous line running across ages, that bends, loops, folds, not strict, not whole, but alive. You exist not on your own, but in resonance. Now breathe. Feel your hands rest somewhere soft. Feel the weight of your body settling into the mattress or floor. And beneath that weight, quiet. Silent, but not empty. Inside you, inside every cell, every molecule, particles are entangled, linked across space, linked across time. Your heart beats in rhythm with all of it. The ocean's pulse, the cycle of stars, the breath of someone who held your hand in another place, another season. In this stillness, you awaken to a truth. You are never fully separate. Quantum physics shows us that the universe is not a collection of islands, but a living network, where distance is not a barrier, but meaning. Your life is not measured by how far you stand apart, but by how deeply you touch. You are the thread that holds quiet patterns in motion. Every thought, every word, Every kindness given echoes beyond what you see. Energy never truly dies. It shifts, it resonates, it entangles with something else. Your laughter may fade, but its particles, your presence, linger in someone you loved. Your tears share a pattern that forms inside another heart when they hear your name. You are not just here. You are woven into the quiet circuits of lives you've shaped and lives yet to come. This isn't mystical thinking. It's a poetic truth grounded in physics. Entanglement is not metaphor. It is measurable. It is science. And yet what it teaches us is more human than any equation. It teaches us that connection is deeper, more immediate, more real than isolation could ever claim. Your breath tonight touches the air of this moment, and the air remembers. The wave of your exhale ripples in the quiet sea of being. And what you touch touches you back. The universe is not indifferent. It responds in its own rhythm to the presence of you. Consider now those you love, those you've lost, those you hope to meet, those you already hold in your heart. You may feel distance, you may feel absence, but that absence is not an emptiness. It is another thread, just as real. Loss does not sever connection. It reminds it, once entangled, forever entwined. Your soul echoes those you've known, their kindness, their laughter, their lessons, their love. You carry them. They carry you. Across space, across time. Let this comfort you tonight. In the quiet hours, when the world fades to breath and skin, your particles settle, your fields align, and in that stillness, connection blooms. You are not a ripple. You are the wave. You are not just a point in time. You are the pattern. You are the thread. Subtle, strong, infinite. Let yourself rest in that knowing. Let your mind soften. Let your heart remember its place in the weaving. And as your breath becomes deeper, so does your knowing. You are not just in the world. The world is in you. And in the quiet, magnificent hum of entangled being, you feel you are the thread. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more daily sleepy science stories. And before you drift off, let us know in the comments. From where in the world are you listening tonight?